All right, folks, Samori Benjamin here with San Francisco Giants bullpen coach and a New Yorker, Garvin Alston. Garvin, welcome. Nice meeting you.
Oh, thank you.
Now, you're from Mount Vernon, I know, and I was just telling you, I just interviewed your homeboy, James Rowson, who is now the hitting coach with the Yankees, and he's from Mount Vernon too, and he has a similar story to you, and so that's great. I think it's great that you all, from here and have made it all the way here. It's incredible because not many people can say that.
Yeah.
A lot of us, we grew up with that dream, and you all did it. Now, in Mount Vernon, I know you went to Mount Vernon High School, but before that, growing up in Mount Vernon in New York, not far from New York City, from the Bronx and all that, how did you get into baseball?
Oh man, got into baseball through my dad. My dad was a coach, commissioner of Mount Vernon Little League. Put his whole heart into it, believed in community, so I was part of it from a little guy.
Yeah, man, and myself, I grew up in the Harlem area, Washington Heights area, and I was a big baseball fan as well, but I noticed, like growing up in the 90s that a lot of my black peers were not into baseball.
Correct.
And so when you were coming up, how many of your peers in Mount Vernon and all that were into the game?
Well, when I was growing up, there was a large number of young men playing baseball, especially black men, Spanish, Portuguese. So in our community in Mount Vernon, we had an abundance of people, different ethnicities, so it was fun. But my homeboys, all of them, we all played baseball.
Right. And I feel like your era was really like the last era where black youngsters were really into the game, and then when the 90s came and Jordan and Iverson, and kind of like that was kind of it, that was kind of it. But Yankees and Mets, were you a Yankee or Mets fan growing up?
Well, I was a Yankees fan to begin with because my cousin Del Alston also played for the Yankees for a short period of time before he went over to the Detroit Tigers.
Okay.
But I was an actual Met fan because of Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry. So that was the era where I was watching TV all the time. Willie Randolph was my guy. But the Mets I pulled for just because Dwight Gooden, I saw somebody that I can see myself in.
No doubt, and I know you are a pitcher, and you mentioned both of those guys. Dwight had his number retired here early in the year, and Darryl's getting his number retired next weekend, so that's going to be great. Now, you're pitching, and at first, Mets, what do you remember about the '86 Mets championship team?
All I remember, those were a bunch of guys that went out there and left everything on the field.
Right.
It was every night, you don't know what's going to happen, but you knew that you was in for a fight every single night. So.
Okay, and so, pitching, not a lot of black pitchers.
No.
So how did you, and I know coming up you were a really good hitter too.
Yeah.
So I guess your father was probably the one who influenced you to be a pitcher, or?
Well, no, not really. It kind of just went that way. So I went to school at Mercy College in upstate New York, or Dobbs Ferry, New York. And from there, the coach that was there helped me kind of grow my skills. And in doing so, I found out I had like a talent for it. So I was like, you know what, let's see what happens. And I didn't stay at Mercy College for all 3 years. I went there for 2, then transferred out to Florida International University, and then noticed that I was among the elite in what I was able to do. But as I went up, I also saw less of seeing myself and my skin color around. So it was difficult at times.
That's a great story, coming from Mercy College to the bigs. Like, that's an incredible story.
Yeah.
Now, you in high school, I heard you threw a no-hitter, right?
I did.
Okay, so because you say that when you got to college, but you were already a really good pitcher, threw a no-hitter in high school.
Correct.
And so what do you remember about that in Westchester?
Yeah.
Throwing a no-hitter in high school?
What I remember mainly about it was the team effort. Usually in games, I would strike out a lot of people, and in that game, I struck out a fair share, but it was more of a team effort for that day. So it was my pitch count was low, so I was able to go the full game and everything else. So it was one of those wonderful situations where everything kind of worked out.
And you mentioned Mercy College, in Dobbs Ferry, New York. I never even knew Mercy College had a baseball team.
Yeah.
So Division II, Mercy College. How did you end up there?
So at the end of my high school year, I had 0 offers to go anywhere. And what ended up happening was one of our school teachers, Drew Marino, worked at Mount Vernon High School, but he was the Mercy College head coach. And then he came out to go see me play against Roosevelt, who was at that time ranked like in the top 10 in baseball. And I pitched against them and did extremely well. So he offered me a scholarship on the spot, a full scholarship. And I was like, yeah, I had no plans. I was going to go to school, but I was going to pay for it. But if you got, I will come to Mercy College. I was just going to do school around here and do what I can to get through. So it kind of worked out the way it was supposed to work out.
Yeah, it's amazing how things like that happen.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure, coming up, like all of us, we have dreams of making it to the big leagues.
Yeah.
But now, after high school and you're going to Mercy College Division II, did you at that time still have dreams of making it to the major leagues?
Not at that time. My whole goal at that point in time of getting that scholarship was to use it to get my degree and move on. But we had a really good baseball team at Mercy College, and we went to the Division II playoffs here in Atlantic County. And I pitched against another really good pitcher who was a junior, and there was a lot of scouts there. I performed well, and they said, hey, we're going to send you to the Cape Cod League for a tryout. And I didn't know what that was. I literally did not know what that was until I got there, and I started seeing guys that I saw on TV, Lyle Mouton, Ricky Green, and those guys. I'm like, wait, I'm here with them. And then confidence started to build, and things started happening.
Right, and what do you remember about that top Cade League year when you were facing those guys?
I was a little bit intimidated just because of the schools that they went to, and I was one of very few that was at a Division II school playing amongst the elite in Cape Cod. And then when I went back my second year, my confidence had grew so much that everybody was saying that I'm a guy. So it was fun seeing the transformation.
That's cool. So pitching at Mercy College those 2 years, and then Florida International, you end up Florida Atlantic, right?
No, Florida International.
Florida International University, FIU. You end up transferring there. So how did you end up being able to go there?
So my Florida International bench coach was my head coach in Cape Cod.
Okay.
And he said, you're a very talented player and you need to go amongst the others to see how good you really are. And USA Baseball at that time had picked me to be the top 80 player to get ahead and come down to Florida, Homestead, Florida. And he said, I will do my best to get you on that squad, which he did. And I was like, you know what, I need this opportunity. I went to Drew Marino. Drew was like, yeah, take care of your business. And he allowed me to fly. And I went out there and it was wonderful.
That's great, man. So I guess your time at Florida International was really good because you ended up getting drafted. But so I know in '92, I believe that year you got drafted, but also you tried out for the Olympic team, right?
That is correct.
Who were some of the guys who you remember who were trying out for the team that year?
Oh wow, Calvin Murray was the top outfielder, fastest guy that was going on. Todd Stevenson, Roger Bailey, Mark Thompson, Tucker. Oh my goodness, there was so many. John Burke. Wow, there was just so many different people there that I read about and that I saw, and to be there with them, it's like, okay, you know what? God is blessing with something, so let's roll with it.
Right. Okay. So now, also '92, you get drafted by the Colorado Rockies,
yes.
And that was their first ever draft.
Yes.
And they were an expansion team. So, just how was that feeling for you? You know, that journey from Mount Vernon High School, Mercy College, FIU, and now you're drafted by Colorado. It
was, to be honest with you, it was shocking. To say it that way, it was shocking. There was very few people that looked like myself. Quentin McCracken, who I'm still very good friends with to this day, was my best friend. We were actually roommates. Actually, Craig Counsell was my first roommate,
nice.
And then Q became my roommate.
Nice.
But it was just shocking to see all the different things that were kind of going on at that point in time, and being able to get ahead and say, you know what, I'm in a different realm right now, and I need to pay attention to my surroundings.
That's cool, man. It must be cool seeing Craig Counsell now when you all cross paths. Cool. So the minor leagues is always a grind.
Yeah.
So what how was it for you, Jess? After you get drafted, now you're in the minor leagues and you're a different part of the country, you probably have never really been before.
Correct.
And dealing with all that.
It was tough. Away from the family, dealing with failure, being around guys that were individualized just because we weren't a team yet, and just now I've got to pay my own rent. I got to do all these different things, so I got to grow up in a moment. So it took some adjustment, but it was something I needed to go through.
Mm-hmm. And now when you made your Major League debut, that was 96 or 97?
No, well, I made my Major League debut in 96, but made the team in 95.
Got you. Okay, cool. So 95, you said you made the team.
Out of spring training, yes.
But you didn't make your debut that year.
That's correct. So I was up there for the first 2 weeks. I was supposed to go to AA. Okay. There was a couple of injuries on the team. So I made the team out of spring training. And then after the 2 weeks were over, I went back to AA.
Okay.
And then the next year in 96, I got my first opportunity on June 6, 1996.
Got you. So you were on the roster for 2 weeks, but did not appear in the game.
That is correct.
Okay. And so 96, when you make your debut with Colorado, I believe that was in Houston, right?
It was in Houston.
So in Houston, Astrodome, against Jeff Bagwell and Big Deal and Derek Bell and those guys. So what do you remember that being like?
I remember my legs shaking a lot. It was surreal being there. I remember getting off the plane, and it was extremely humid. Marvin Freeman was the first person that I ran into once I got off the plane and got to the Houston Astrodome. And then I was pitching that same night. So it was all a blur, but it was definitely something that I'll never forget.
And I believe that was the only year you were pitching in the majors, right?
Yes, that is correct.
So what do you remember? What do you remember just about that 1 year that you were a major league ball player pitching?
Well, the thing about it that was interesting was I never felt comfortable, right? Mm-hmm. So it was fun, it was exciting, but I never felt comfortable. So I was hoping that the next year would be my year, right. And then unfortunately, that's when I had my injury. Oh. So when the injury happened, I never regained that form, but. I'm still happy that the opportunity presented itself,
No doubt. You made it. I mean, everybody would love to play in the major leagues, and you did it. Now, what injury did you have?
I had Tommy John.
Oh, wow, Tommy John. Okay, wow. And that was back almost 30 years ago, and people still have it now and they're coming back. So
like that.
Yeah. I mean, so at that time, was it as easy to come back from it as it is now?
So there was still learning about how to treat it and how to get guys back and everything else. And so the first time I came back, everything was going great, then I hurt it again. So when I hurt it the second time, they said I strained the ligament even more, but that was the repaired ligament. So they said it's going to be difficult for me to get all the way back, which turned out to be true. Okay.
Now, I know you spent some time playing in Taiwan as well, right?
Yeah, I spent,
how was that, you living and playing in Taiwan?
Taiwan was an experience, to say the least. So I was actually over in Japan first.
Okay.
And Japan, they had their workouts and everything else, and I didn't like the vibe there at that point in time. So on my way back, my agent was telling me, hey, I got another spot for you, wanted to try it. Went to Taiwan, I actually liked it. Pitched for, I want to say, maybe a month and a half, 2 months. And I was like, you know what, this is not for me. There's something else that's better for me. Let me go ahead and get back home. But the experience itself was tremendous. The culture was amazing. I enjoyed my time there, but it was away from my family that I was just beginning.
Yeah. No, it's funny because a former Knick, Cal Quinn, he actually went to the same college as I did. I went before he did, but he played for the Knicks. I went to Norfolk State in Virginia.
Okay.
So I saw him because he's been playing over China for a couple of years. Yeah. So I saw him about a month ago, and I said, how do you like playing over there? He said, I hate it. Because it's so far away from his family and all that. Yeah. So how did you get into coaching?
By chance. I was working at that time in the city of Phoenix, had a nice job, family was growing, everything is beautiful, and I ran into, he's now an assistant general manager for the Oakland Athletics, Billy Owens, who was my teammate in Cape Cod. And he's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm actually working for the city of Phoenix, doing great. He goes, no, you're a baseball person, you need to get back in baseball. I was like, yeah, whatever. He said, give me your number, gave my number. The next day I got a phone call from the Oakland A's and wanted to know if I wanted to coach. I said, I'm actually good, but they said, come in for the interview. So I did, things went well. They offered me a position. I said, no thank you, because the pay was so poor. And then my wife asked me, she said, is this something you want to do? I said, maybe, I don't know. She said, well, try it out for a year, we're good. Try it out for a year, see if you like it. I tried it out and I fell in love with it again.
And that was the Oakland Athletics organization?
That was Oakland Athletics, yes.
What year was this?
This was in 2005.
Okay, so you get in there, what position were you doing initially when you got there?
I was the pitching coach of the low A team in Kane County Cougars.
Okay, and what were you able to do after that? Were you able to just build yourself and were you ended up here in the majors?
So it was a long haul. I went from being a pitching coach in low A to high A to becoming a rehab coordinator, which that position wasn't there. And they allowed me to shape it, form it. And so I did some things that a lot of people in the industry said, oh, that's pretty good. And so my name kind of started flourishing out just a little bit. And then I became the pitching coordinator for the Oakland A's in 2015. And then from there, everything just kind of kept going. And the Arizona Diamondbacks came calling. And I was the bullpen coach for them first. And then from there, I went over to
Minnesota.
Not yet.
Okay.
That was in 2018. So that was I'm trying to think of the team. I can't think of the rest. San Diego Padres.
Okay.
And then the Padres, I was the rehab coordinator because I started the program with Oakland. And then what ended up happening was the Oakland Athletics fired their major league pitching coach, and they were looking for a bullpen coach. So they asked for, which never happens in Major League Baseball, they asked for permission for me to go from the San Diego Padres back to the Oakland Athletics. And then I went straight to the big leagues. And I've been there for the whole year. And then the next year, that's when Minnesota came calling.
Okay, so Minnesota came calling, and they were a good team.
Yeah.
They made the playoffs. I know you also with your boy James Rowson was on that coaching staff too, right?
That's in 2019. I was there in 2018.
Okay, I thought he was there both. He was on there 2019 Okay.
Oh, what? J. Rod he was there in 18 as well. So 18 and 19, we were there together. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so 2018, the 2018 season.
Yeah.
How was it just being with him, two Mount Vernon guys on the same coaching staff?
I don't think people truly understand that when Jimmy was 10 years old, 11 years old, and he was coming to my dad's house or my house, and we would have like barbecues and everything else, and he was there. And now to be in the major leagues at the pinnacle of what baseball is, together coaching, being the major league pitching coach and the major league hitting coach, it was something that it was amazing, and it was everything to me. And what a lot of people don't know, that I'm not bragging on myself, but I was the fifth ever black pitching coach in Major League Baseball history.
Really?
Not many people know that.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. You know, I love hearing that kind of stuff because I've been doing a lot of stories on just Afro-American players in the game since for over a decade, you know, and I did not know that was that few Afro-American pitching coaches. Wow.
Yes.
And so you were okay, so you were the pitching coach, you were the hitting coach. Yeah. That's beautiful, man. It's really beautiful. And I just got like two more for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you were out of the major league. You were in the minor leagues after 2018 for a while, right? Before this year?
So 2019, I went to USA Baseball.
Okay.
Because, which still surprises me to the day, my phone didn't ring. People didn't pick up their phone after Minnesota got rid of a whole bunch of people. And so I was out of baseball for 4.5 months. And that's when San Francisco called me the winter of 2019 and said, hey, we want you to be a part of our organization. And I'm like, sure, no problem. And so they brought me on, I learned their system, I added some stuff, and then all of a sudden, I was on my way to Sacramento to be their AAA pitching coach.
You know, that's cool story about you and James. I know you were both from Mount Vernon, but I did not really know you all knew each other all the time. That's special.
Yeah.
And so now, growing up in Mount Vernon, how much, Mount Vernon is a few blocks from the Bronx.
Yeah.
And right there, pretty much the same thing to me. New York City, the five boroughs, Mount Vernon. My best friend, my longest friend, he lives in Mount Vernon, Alex Celsus, so I spent, a lot of time there. Just how much were you able to go around the five boroughs and experience all the city?
Well, I didn't go around all the five boroughs.
Okay.
I ventured out to Long Island quite a bit.
Okay.
I was in Bayside, Queens quite a bit also, just because they had baseball teams that were a little bit above the approach of where Mount Vernon was at that point in time. And so I had to travel literally an hour, 45 minutes every single day to kind of get there and help and be better and go through different experiences to get ahead and better myself as a person, but also as a ball player. So just that alone, as a 16-year-old, driving across the bridge every single day and doing what I need to do to get better, I think that helped in my maturity to get ahead and go through the things that I went through.
Okay, last two for you.
Yeah.
Just who is the most talented player that you've ever played with, and the most talented player that you've had a chance to coach?
Oh wow, that I played with. Derek Gibson was the most talented player that I've ever seen, and he played a little bit in the major leagues with the Colorado Rockies. He was 6'5", 225 pounds, and could do anything on a baseball field that anybody can do. He was actually slated to be the next Bo Jackson.
Wow.
He played football. He had scholarships to Auburn, Alabama, all those schools back in. But for whatever reason, he chose baseball, and it didn't work out for him. He's the most talented guy that I've ever seen on a baseball field.
Is he from Mount Vernon also?
No, he's actually from Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, where did you end up crossing paths with him?
So when I was injured, after I had my Tommy John surgery, he had just gotten drafted.
Okay.
And I was down there and I was watching him play. And then my next 2 years, in 1998, 1999, he flew through the system, and we were on the same team in AAA together for maybe a month and a half too. And he was doing things. I was like, wow, this guy's and that's the biggest thing ever. He was unreal.
Got you. And how about the most talented player you had a chance to coach?
Man, that's a tough question. There's a lot of talented people that I had the chance to coach, and it's going to sound biased a little bit, but Matt Chapman is one of the most talented people that I've been around. Mm-hmm. The things that he can do on a baseball field, how he leads the guys that's inside here, he's absolutely amazing. Gosh, there's many more. There's so many more, but I'm going to leave it right there.
That's a good one. Okay, and last one. I did not know about the number, how many few Afro-American pitching coaches there have been, but I definitely know there's been less than 20 Afro-American managers in Major League Baseball history. So, and you're a lifelong baseball man, been in the game for a long time, so you would be great to manage a team one day. I mean, so if someone ever came to you and it was available, what do you think that you could bring to a team with your leadership?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because one of my dreams is actually to be a manager for an HBCU.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so that's something that I've been watching all the different managers that I've either coached under or played for, and my job is to go ahead and pay attention to how they do things so I can kind of mold my style and what I want to be when I become a manager.
That's great, because like I said, I went to Norfolk State, so I love the HBCU, and we definitely could use someone like yourself to be a manager. So I got to put this out there. I got to, folks, we got to get this going, because you definitely be a great resource. All right, well, Garvin.
Yes.
I thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure meeting you, and good luck to you.
I appreciate you.
And folks, Mount Vernon guy right here, just like James Rowson, San Francisco Giants, Bullpen Coach. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it, brother.
All right, folks, we're back.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.